Hey everybody, 8-Bit Josh here, and welcome to my Tropical Pack DLC first look for Planet Zoo, as well as the free 1.13 update. There's a lot to look at with the DLC and the update, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So what I did here, instead of kind of laying out all of the pieces that you get with the pack, which I used to do, but I kind of changed it up, and instead I started making little mini zoos to kind of showcase all the animals and all the building pieces and kind of show you what you can do with this. So that's what we have here is my little mini zoo, which I rather like. But yeah, right off the bat, so if we kind of go over here, one of the first things, we have a new path, which I love, the kind of like stone with the grass and like dirt kind of showing through. A lot of detail there, which I really like. We have some new benches here for the guests, a new trash bin, all the things that you would expect. One of the really cool things about the Tropical Pack is all the building pieces. Like if you look at this if you look at this piece here, if we edit, you can see it's made up almost entirely of really small building pieces, so you really can just kind of build whatever you want, whatever you can sort of imagine. I love the moss that's kind of growing on everything. It gives it that kind of aged look. It's just, yeah, I can see these pieces getting used quite a lot. Just a lot of really good details there. It's pretty fantastic. If we move along to the first habitat here, which is the Asian water monitor, and I say, like with every pack that comes out, the animal models are just so good, and the details, like if you look at their skin, like I feel like if I reached out to try to pet it, like I know what their skin would feel like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just so good, especially like when they get wet and the way the sun just kind of glistens off of their body. Yeah, Frontier is just, they do such a great job with the animal models. And I know we already have a water monitor in the game, but I mean, they're so cool looking. One thing I didn't do with this habitat, which maybe I should have, is the water monitors can make use of the deep diving mechanic, the swimming mechanic. So that's really cool. So if you want to make yourself like an underwater viewing area, you could do that. One of the best features that has been added to the game, a couple years ago when the aquatic pack came out, and glad to see that as new animals are added, they make use of that feature, because it's pretty rad. So we're gonna make our way over here, bumpy, windy path, and head on over to the Fossa habitat, which I made way too big than they probably needed, but it's nice and it's spacious. Before this pack, I have to be honest, I've never seen a Fossa, or I don't think I've even heard of them before, but they are really, really cool looking. They're obviously like a cat-like animal here that are on Madagascar, and I learned that they actually hunt lemurs. So, you know, don't put lemurs in the same habitat as them, because they'll become lunch for a fossa. Yeah, look how cool they look. You know, they almost, like, their heads, the way they're pointed, almost in a way kind of remind me of, like, almost like a rat a little bit. Just because they have like a slender sort of pointy head. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird for thinking that, but look at the way they run. Oh man, they make such cool noises too. Another thing, besides the animal models, Frontier also does an amazing job with the sounds of animals, because they actually go out and record the actual sounds. It's not just something that they make up. So, oh, they're talking to each other. Oh, perfect. They make really interesting sounds. It's like almost like little cackles. All right, so we'll continue our journey through our tropical pack zoo here. You can see we've got some more buildings here. And then our next stop, the Red River Hog. I will say this might be the first time I actually made an appropriately sized habitat. Oh, but perfect timing. Are you gonna go through? Oh, I thought he was gonna roll through the mud. You lay down like you were gonna. But these guys are cool. I love the little mohawk stripe on their back. Yeah, look at like the, I guess it's like the tusk. I don't know if the tusks are like mid like growth there, but like the little bulges on his nose. So cool. Oh. The keeper is happy. They're in a good place. And like their little snouts. Him sniffing. Yeah, another really fun animal. You can tell the guests like them. So as we move on, next up over here we have the Lar Gibbon, which I don't know, might be tied as one of my favorite animals in this DLC. They make like the weirdest, like almost like banshee sounding howls. They're just listen to those like little howls that they make. But watching them run around, like kind of how they run, like with their arms out and stuff, it's really funny to me. Of course, this guy's not doing it. This one's having a nice little snack here. Yeah, but because they can climb, they do make use of the new like hanging mechanic that came out with, I don't recall which DLC it was now. But yeah, well, they actually will hang underneath and swing rather than just always run across it. Let's see how they like run with their like arms up. It's so cute. How can you not find that just completely adorable? I don't know. Also, I feel like maybe the climbing mechanic maybe got a little bit better. Like it seems like when they're climbing up and down those poles, like it seems like they do it a lot better. So I don't know if I feel like Frontier improved that a little bit. Yeah, so here's one hanging. He's just chilling. Actually, I think this is a she. She's just chilling. Actually, don't think that I've seen that where they just hang there. Whoop, and there we go. That's so cool. Seeing those animations, and man, it just like really brings the animals to life. He's just chilling, just hanging out, relaxing. Are you gonna go for a swing? You know you want to. And then moving on, last but certainly not least, the one I think most people are probably excited about. That's right, it's the brown-throated sloth, and this is a walkthrough habitat or exhibit animal, and you can just see how absolutely slow. Like that Frontier nailed their animation. Like, it looks like somebody filmed them moving and then slowed it way down. Like, I've never seen anything move so slowly. Yeah, so we got the walkthrough habitat with the Twilight pack, which introduced the bats, and then in the last pack we got butterflies, and now we have a sloth, which happy to see like a kind of bigger animal make use of the walkthrough exhibits, because you know we had the bats and butterflies, which are pretty small, but these are like, you know, sloths aren't small animals, so really cool. You can see all the climbing stuff that they get. I have, of course, all of the enrichment stuff turned on, so they do interact with all that. I love the like little heater there when they get cold. Actually, look at this. This is amazing. This is like so good. He's just relaxing. Doesn't even care. Oh man, that is so good. And I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like there's enough room for maybe one more sloth. I would love to see like two of them in there just chilling, just having a good old time, relaxing, enjoying the scene. Man, that is a fantastic. I've also seen there's oh, there he is. He's still over there hanging upside down, and they'll drink from the water right here. Oh, he's doing it. It's like he knew. Oh man, Frontier, well done on the sloths. That is absolutely amazing. Yeah, the sloths are just a really fantastic addition to Planet Zoo. And then there you go. So that is all of the animals that you get in the Tropical Pack DLC. This is my Tropical Pack Zoo. I will put this up on the Steam Workshop, but since I got access to this early, I can't put it up until the DLC releases on Tuesday, April 4th. So if you're watching this at that time or afterwards, you can definitely head to my Steam Workshop and download it if you want to check it out. The link to my Steam Workshop is always in the description down below. And oh, by the way, here are all the pieces that you get with the Tropical Pack DLC. All of the pieces you expect. You have all the grid pieces and a slew of non-grid pieces. The statues as well are, I think, one of the coolest additions. If you play Planet Coaster, you'll be really familiar with how these statues work. You got like the bottom, the middle, and then the head, and then you can just kind of combine the different statues to even create your own statue, which is really cool. So yeah, those are all of the pieces that you get with the Tropical Pack DLC. Some of my favorites, I have to say. The bark panels here are really nice, really highly detailed on both sides. I love these pieces, the bamboo panels. I do wish though that they had given us some larger pieces, because these would make awesome like path decor, like you know, like planks on a path that the guests would walk on. But they're not all that big, so you'd have to use an awful lot of those. But yeah, and then here, like I said, all of the mossy stone pieces, just absolutely amazing, full of detail. Going to be using these so much. Now, as far as the free 1.13 update that you get, which even if you don't purchase the tropical pack, you still get the free update, which comes with some pretty great features as well. The sociality feature, which the aim of this feature is to bring a more lifelike approach to the introduction of new animals into existing exhibits. For instance, new animals introduced into a habitat will be marked as outsiders. They exceed the gender or population limits of that habitat. Sometimes those animals can get rejected. So something you'll have to keep an eye on if you're, managing your zoo. Maybe you're not playing in sandbox mode. So definitely a cool new addition to add a new level of management to the game. We also have the multi-axis movement tool, which is definitely really, really cool. So we'll come over here and I'll show that to you. So if you play, you're familiar, you hit X and you get this tool where you can go on the different axis. Well, now you can see some extra lines here. So normally you'd be like, you can move it that way, up and down. Now you can kind of go at an angle. Look at that. You can do it from this direction as well. So very, very cool. Allows for much more fine movement. You can also, if you want, you just hold the mouse down, and then you can kind of the same as like just like if you were to free move like this. So very, very cool. I will say in my time with this, I did find myself, like if you click right here, you can see those are highlighted. That means the new angles are activated there. So like maybe you're gonna want to you just wanted to move this over, to the right. I found myself kind of clicking here, which highlights the new angle, which does, the two axes at the same time. So something I think players will probably have to keep an eye on, because you don't have to click right on it. Like you can see when I hover, like right here activates the new multi-axis angle. So just something to keep in mind. You have to kind of be closer to the tips of the arrows if you just want that angle. Another really great feature that was added, this is again part of the free update, is the climbing toggle. So before, if you were building structures and things inside of a habitat, maybe like a building, you'd have to worry about whether or not the animals could climb that object and escape. So now you don't have to worry about that. You can see I've got an object here, the African branch, and then you just turn it off, and then that way the animals will not be able to climb. In fact, we can see it in action. So we come over here to the Lar Gibbon habitat I made. So click on one of these. So I'm gonna change these two, which you can see just totally screwed them up, but I changed those two pieces to not be climbable. And then if we click on it and look in the heat map, and then there you can see instead of the green line, which indicates that it's climbable, now it's sort of a brownish colored line, which indicates that it's not climbable. So not only is it super useful functionally, but you get a visual cue as well to let you know that it is not climbable. Of course, we want it to be climbable, so I'm gonna go ahead and change that. Of course, that messed them up, so they had to be respawned. And then finally, you might have noticed in my zoo, I have some natural paths here, but there are no curbs. Or maybe you didn't notice. So a highly, highly requested feature that I know I have requested many times is we now have the option to toggle curbs on and off for natural paths. So before, we always had on regular paths, we had the option of So it would just go here, curb on ground path, and you'd get that, right? And then you'd be like, oh, I don't want to do an actual path. I want like a more natural path. And so you do that, and you'd be stuck with like these little tiny stumps. And you know, if you had to get creative and cover them up, well, now you don't even have to worry about that. So you go down here, you go to your path settings. Before, if you were on a natural path, this curb on ground, I don't remember if it went away altogether or if it was just like you couldn't change it, but now you can. So you can go, you see here the path I made. Now you just click on it and bam, no path. I mean, there's a path, but you can't see it. The cool thing is, if you're, say you're in your path building menu, or you're in a actual building menu, like if you're going to place something, it does highlight the path for you, so you can see exactly where it is, which is super useful. You know, for instance, if we go over here to the zoo, so you can kind of see, you can see the white line there on each side where the path is. Right there is a really good spot. So as you're building, you can still tell where the path is. You don't have to worry about accidentally covering over. Yeah, this is a feature that has been long requested in the community. In fact, I think it was last year I made a video that was kind of like, you know, what I would like to see in Planet Zoo 2. Even though the game is still in active development, I just thought it would be fun to kind of talk about my wish list items. And I very specifically mentioned in that video to let us toggle the curbs on and off on natural paths. Planet Zoo sequel, such as flowing dynamic water and null paths. I go into more detail in the Planet Coaster video, so if you'd like to hear my ideas on those two features, make sure to check out that video. Again, it's linked in the corner of this video. Now, I will say, my one little gripe is, okay, so they're calling them null paths, but are they actually true null paths? No, they're not. It's just a natural path with the option to toggle the curb on and off. So like if you want to make an elevated path, it's still the regular elevated path. There's no option to, you know, take the curb off elevated paths. So, you know, it's like, yeah, I am super happy. It's not a complaint. I am super happy that we got the option to toggle curbs on natural paths, but I kind of wish they didn't call them null paths, because they technically aren't. It's not a null path. It's not a null path in the same way that we have null barriers, right? Like the null barrier is an actual invisible barrier that the animals, obviously the animals could walk through them, but the game recognizes it as, if you have, you know, a complete connection, will recognize it as a habitat. I would have loved, and I actually said that in my Planet Zoo 2 video, a null path system that worked exactly like null barriers, where you just had a single line like this, and when you placed it down, guests would walk along that path. Which there, you know, who knows, there could be any kind of technical limitation that would obviously not know enough about. So again, like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm not. I just kind of wish they didn't call them null paths, because it's really just, they should have just said, hey, you can toggle curbs on and off on natural paths now, because that's really what it is. But it's super awesome. You know, as you can see in my zoo here, I did that for everywhere I made a natural path, which really shines in, like, well, not right there, because I actually used the fence there, but like right here, you can see there are no curbs. So I, you know, kind of using using details like my own custom fences and grass really helps make a nicer looking path when you want to do a natural path. It's just, you know, you can see all along on this side. It's super nice. It also makes it feel more open. You know, it almost looks like this could be part of the path, even though it's not. And yeah, I do love that that we have quote unquote null paths now. I will also say for the climbing toggle, that is only available on pieces and plants that are climbable. You can't, for instance, like the brick wall here, you can't like make that climbable. So it has to be something, you know, if you go down here to property and you filter on climbable, it has to be something that is climbable, which is mostly wood pieces, and of course there's a lot of things in the nature tab as well. These are all the new plants you get in the Tropical Pack DLC. Lots of really cool plants here. I'm a big fan of ferns, so I like these new ferns that we got. Those are really nice. But yeah, there you go, everybody. There is our first look at the Tropical Pack DLC. A final look at the sloths here with their little, like, just chill smiley faces. But let me know down in the comments, what are you excited about for this DLC? Is it the animals? Is it all the amazing new building pieces? Is it maybe it's not even the DLC? Maybe you're more excited about the free update with the Null Paths, the Sociality Edition, the climbing toggles, all of that stuff. Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more Planet Zoo from me, make sure to check out my Meridian Springs series, which just wrapped up. In fact, I have my walkthrough tour of that zoo up today. It just came out as well. So if you're a fan of Horizon Zero Dawn, you might like that zoo. Make sure to check it out. But yeah, as always, be sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. I'm 8-Bit Josh, and thanks for watching. See ya.